Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to Ladies in Crypto on Martyn Lucas Investor. I'm KC, and if this is your first time here, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. Today we have a really special guest coming on to the show. But first, I'm going to do a little recap. I also want to start by apologizing. I want to start by apologizing for. Pardon me, just a second. If you've been here before, welcome back. Today we have a really special guest. Just one second, I'm sorry. But first, I'm going to do a little recap. I also want to start by apologizing. I'm getting feedback on my sound, so I apologize. Just give me one second. Can anybody hear that feedback in the background? If not, I'm just going to move forward. Just one second, I'm sorry. Okay, let's see. I think that I've got it solved now. I apologize for that. And I wanted to start by saying that I am so sorry that I wasn't here last week. I was very ill last week, and I just couldn't go on. I try and show up for you guys, and it was just a tough week. So we're back. I'm back and ready to get started. Okay, so as I was saying before, today we have a very special guest coming on in just a few minutes. But first, I wanted to do just a little recap of what we've been talking about over the last few weeks. So if you watched the first few episodes, you already know that crypto can feel like just chaotic and that you dropped into a group chat halfway through. So usually that looks like 200 unread messages and people yelling all the time. There's lots of charts, lots of screenshots, lots of acronyms that most people don't understand. And crypto shouldn't be about hype. It's not really about the next big thing. And it's definitely not about someone telling you just to trust them. It's about how do you actually start? That's what we're talking about today. How do you actually start in crypto intentionally without feeling reckless? And we're starting with everybody's favorite acronym, Dior. And no, it's still not the handbag that you didn't buy that you almost bought to cope last week. It is do your own research. Dior gets thrown around a lot in crypto. People say it and make you feel like, well, you should have known this, or that's on you. But a lot of people don't know how to do that research on their own. But real research into crypto, it doesn't mean looking at charts or following charts around the clock, looking at charts at midnight. It doesn't mean joining 16, 17 different crypto servers. Sorry, not crypto servers, Discord servers, just to try and piece all of the information together. And it doesn't mean that you need to suddenly understand everything in blockchain. Real research means understanding what you're participating in. Think of it like traveling. You don't need to know how the airplane works, but you want to know where you're going, where you're staying, how you're getting home, and what happens if something goes wrong. Crypto is the same. So today we're going to answer just a couple of questions that usually get skipped because everyone else is pretending that they already know the answers and most of them don't. So let's start with the basics. What is crypto? At its core, crypto is digital ownership. That's it. Blockchain lets us own things digitally without a middleman deciding for us. And we can own things like money, assets, records. Blockchain is basically the receipts. No, trust me, no, we'll fix it later. It's all recorded. And it matters a lot for women, especially because typically they've been shut out of this industry. I think we on Martyn Lucas Investor have the largest percentage of females in our audience, which is fantastic. And we're really here to try and bring more women into that space because they bring a different perspective. And I've talked about this before. I like to look at things. I think that real wealth is built by mixing strategies between women's long-term thinking and women do think long term with their strategy, but they also are usually more risk adverse. They look at all the ins and outs of what the risks could be. And men bring a different skill to the table, and that skill is that they're often decisive and they can jump on opportunities faster. So when we mix those two strategies, I think that that is where real wealth is built. Okay, so back to the basics. I've had a lot of questions about what is a wallet, and this is very important. So let's talk about wallets because this is where people get really confused. A crypto wallet isn't where your crypto lives, it's how you access it. Think of it like this: your money doesn't live inside of your banking app, the app is just how you log in. A wallet is your keys to the blockchain, so it's your access to the crypto that you own. Now that could be that you're holding. I believe that Martyn has some great opinions on wallets. You could be holding your crypto on the exchanges that you purchased it on, and there are a lot of arguments. And so we will get into that later today. But there are a lot of arguments for why that's actually a good strategy without all the fear that everybody brings to this, right? So your money doesn't live inside the banking app, as we said, and your wallet is your keys to your blockchain. So wallet sounds scary until you translate it. It just means whoever controls the login controls the asset. So whether that is on a hot wallet, a cold wallet, or on your exchange, if you have the keys, you have the ownership, you have the access. Hot wallets. So we're going to get into the types of wallets holding on an exchange. A hot wallet is a wallet that's connected to the internet. It's easy, it's beginner friendly, it's great for learning and learning in small amounts. Cold wallets are offline. Think it's like a digital vault, a digital safe. Better for long-term storage of larger amounts of crypto or something that you're going to hold on to for the long term. And this is the place where you've got 10 different people telling you different wallets to use, and none of them explain why. Okay, so the next basic, we just have a couple of more here, and then we're going to bring on our special guest. The next basic is, what's an exchange? Where do you buy crypto? Think of it like an airport. You don't live there. Oops. You don't live there. You don't store your luggage there forever. You just pass through to get where you're going. And exchanges are for buying, selling, and converting crypto. And according to some people, they are good for long-term holding, or sorry, not long-term holding, holding your crypto on the exchange, especially because it can affect the data if you transfer it off an exchange. Okay. They're usually, a lot of people will tell you that exchanges are not ideal for long-term storage, but as I said before, we're going to get into that in a little bit, but I think there's some really good arguments for keeping your crypto on an exchange. The next thing that we're going to talk about, the basics, is how to start. And here's where people overcomplicate it. You don't need to start big. In fact, small is a smart strategy, not a lack of confidence. Think of crypto like learning to navigate around a new gym. You don't walk in and max out on all the machines in one day. You learn the layout. You test the equipment. You build your comfort zone. So how much do you start with? This is another question that I get often. Start with an amount that won't affect your sleep, that won't make you panic. It won't cause stress if it fluctuates up and down, and you can afford to to lose it when you're starting out, because you may, or you can afford to take a drop. If you can't afford to take a, say, even 10, 20, 30% drop in the price, because you're going to need to access that money quickly and soon, then it's not something that you should start investing in. For many people, that looks like, I don't know, $50, $100, maybe $500, just until you start to get the lay of the land. I consider this tuition, not a bet. So, when to start? The best time to start in crypto is before urgency shows up. I'm going to say that again because it's really important. Before urgency shows up, not when prices are exploding and going to all-time highs, not when headlines are screaming all about crypto, not when everyone that you know is talking about how they just bought X, Y, and Z crypto or Binky Bunk coin yesterday. So, learning or investing early means that you stay calm, you don't react emotionally, and you make decisions instead of guesses. Investing small amounts early is what I should have said there. But when you start small, it really gives you that opportunity to just see how everything works. Prepared people don't panic buy or panic sell. So it's better to be prepared. And here's the last part before we bring in our great guest. This is just some common beginner mistakes that I see the most. Don't start in crypto because someone says, this is your last chance. It's never going to be this low again. We have heard that. I have heard that a million times. I made that mistake in the beginning of my crypto journey. I bought when things were high because people said prices are never going to go low again. And with crypto, things are volatile. Things are up and down, and there are so many factors. It moves faster than traditional, say, stock markets. There's more volatility because it is still like the Wild West. We're trying to get to a point with legal clarity where it is not the Wild West, but up until this point, it really has been. So that means more volatility and more risk in the market. Don't start because someone says this is your last chance ever. And then don't invest because you're bored, emotional, or trying to feel productive. I was doing that for a little while. I was like, oh, the more I trade, the more I'll learn. I want to feel productive here. And I wasn't making the best decisions. And I learned and had to rebalance my portfolio. Don't let the loudest person in the room become your financial advisor. Don't let social media, X crypto, become your financial advisor. You really have to educate yourself if you're going to enter this space, or consider sitting on the sidelines until you understand it more. And that's how people confidently get involved with crypto to begin with. So again, start small. Okay, so now that we've had that little recap, we are going to bring in a very special guest today to have a wonderful conversation about crypto and maybe even a little XRP. Welcome, Martyn Lucas.
Thank you, Casey. It's great to be on your show as your first guest. May I start by saying congratulations for putting on a fantastic show. It's grown really quickly. I'm so proud of what you've put on here and what you've produced. It really is fantastic. It just goes to show that women do bring a different perspective to the show. As you mentioned earlier, 13.8% of our audience are female, and I think it's important to reach those people. And you do such a great job. Your show is fantastic, and I'm honoured to be your first guest. But it's not about me. This is your show. You're interviewing me, so here I am for you.
Wonderful. Well, I am so honored to have you as my first guest. You bring such great insight. I have personally learned so much from you. So I am very happy that you're here as my first guest. So I think that maybe we should start by talking about wallets, because that has been a big topic of conversation in the last few of my shows. And I know that you have a different perspective on keeping your crypto on exchanges. So would you like to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I think every time a new technology or a new opportunity enters the space, there's always somebody ready and willing to to uh, provide a service. And someone is saying that I'm echoing. Am I echoing? Can everybody else hear that? Vaz is saying that. Casey, do you have me through as two sources? Do you have me coming through as two sources? There should just be the interview guest. There shouldn't be anything
that's
else.
all. There's nothing else. Just the
Casey, are you able to mute your mic when Martyn is talking?
Yes, I can do that. Let's see.
You
Let
can
me
do
mute
that?
myself for a second and see if that helps.
Okay, so what I'm guessing then is, Casey, is my audio quite loud in your studio? And in fact, what to do? Unmute yourself for a moment. Unmute yourself, and as I'm speaking, am I being picked up in your microphone? So you'll see your level going up and down. Is it going up? Right. That's because I am loud on your monitor speakers, and I'm being picked up into your system. All right.
Gotcha.
So you can either turn down the monitors in your system or mute when I speak. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. You can try those two things out. All right. We'll discuss that at the end of the show. So you asked me about wallets. Okay, it's a great thing. So every time a new industry is created, an opportunity to invest, people that are ready and willing to try to make money out of it. And wallets are a business, just like everything else. They're an industry, and everybody wants you to download their wallet, buy their ledger, or whatever, because they make money out of it. And then they lace that business with fear. You have to have this product, otherwise you're going to have all your crypto stolen and all the rest of it. So you think, oh my God, if I'm going to buy Bitcoin, I better buy a wallet. And there we go. There's your first problem. It's a business. Now, is it a good idea? Well, obviously, if you leave your money on an exchange, you need to understand that. If you're buying like I do on Robinhood, you need to make sure that your brokerage account where you're buying it is secure for passwords, email, two-factor authentication. Don't share that with anyone, and then you're pretty good. So you're not likely to have any problems with that if you follow all the steps and use your phone number so it can text you if anyone's tried to enter your account. I've tested all these theories, and they're pretty robust. And I have two accounts, a Robinhood UK and a Robinhood USA. So I go into each account, and every time I do, it says you've just signed into another account. It gives you a warning. So these security measures work. So I can trust Robinhood's system. Now, you might say, well, what if Robinhood goes bust? What if Robinhood goes bankrupt? Well, first thing you need to understand is all your stocks and all your positions are held at custodians with Robinhood. I don't mean crypto, I mean your stocks. So if Robinhood went bankrupt, your cash is protected even more than a bank. They have even more insurance to protect your cash than a bank does. And your shares are held in custodians all around the world. So the whole world would need to go bankrupt and corrupt and everything else for that to be a problem. And then if that happened, we've got bigger issues anyway. So I wouldn't be concerned about that. And as far as Robinhood going bust, it wouldn't make any difference anyway. Now, crypto is different. But again, it is not on the balance sheet of Robinhood. Your Bitcoin, your Ethereum is held by them, but it's not on their balance sheet. It's yours. So again, if they go bankrupt, they don't run off with your crypto. Okay, that's good. The other thing you might want to consider is they have institutional grade security. They're probably better at it than you are. Let's be honest, if you buy a ledger, did you lose it? Did you lose your seed phrase? Do you know how a ledger works? There's no Bitcoin on there. There's just keys. not to worry if you lose it, if it breaks, as long as you've got your seed phrase, you can buy another one and sign into that one and still get access to your Bitcoin, because your Bitcoin lives on the blockchain, not in your wallet. Trouble is, some people then go and get a wallet from an app store and they think, well, Apple licensed it. No, they didn't. They just allowed it to be on the app store, like you can buy rip-off stuff on Amazon and find out actually the stuff you're buying on Amazon is actually rubbish as well. So just because you bought it on an app store doesn't mean the wallet is good. There are people who have downloaded wallets, used them, and they've got scammed and lost all their money that way. So for me, I don't need a wallet. I don't use a wallet. I had a Ledger wallet and I sold it to one of our guests once upon a time. I didn't want it anymore and sold it. And also, if you put your crypto on a wallet, then you lose your lot position. So when you bring it back, it's just an average price. You lose the ability to trade wisely because now it's just one lump of Bitcoin, one lump of XRP coming back. So you've lost all that information. So for me, I don't see any point to it. I can see why some would do it. Some people, it's probably good having a wallet, because if you've got a wallet, maybe it stops you from trading. And very often, 95% of day traders lose money. And if you just left it alone 5 years, if it still exists, of course, you're more likely to be up. So maybe it protects you from yourself rather than the scammers, which is the reason why you bought it in the first place. So there's my thoughts on wallets, Casey. Good question, by the way.
That's great. That's great. I have to say that since I've heard you start speaking about this, I have not added any more to my cold wallet, any more crypto than I already had. I just left what I had on there because I've already lost the lots, the tax lots data from that. But, I've really been diving into your tax lot strategy lately, especially to rebalance my portfolio with some, mistakes that I had made last year. And so I love the idea of being able to have that available. And as you said, there is more protections. They have institutional grade security on most of these exchanges, unless you're using some, really, really off the radar exchange. If you're using any of the major exchanges, you have a lot more protection. And I know, like I'm a Robinhood Gold member, and with that, there comes even more protection. So I think that a lot of people worry that there's, they're not going to have that protection. That's why they move it to cold wallets. Anyhow, I love the idea. I love the strategy. I love the tax lots. That's the other thing I wanted to talk about, because I wanted to ask you I know you use tax lots, especially when you're doing any type of stock trading. Are you using tax lots regularly when you're trading crypto? Does it work the same?
Absolutely, it does. I use it even more because I am a long-term investor, but I also like to be a trader as well, because I don't just join fan clubs and just hold forever when I can see greater opportunities and all the rest of it. So yes, I do. And the wonderful thing about crypto is you can trade 1,000 times a day, million times a day, if you can manage it and pull it off, and you're not ever going to be restricted by pattern day trading. It only comes into stocks. Remember why pattern day trading exists, though. It's there to protect you from yourself. It's not just the SEC being miserable. They're trying to stop you from guessing and gambling. But which is ironic, really, when you think that Robinhood now has predictive markets. It's kind of all very controversial anyway. But tax lots are designed primarily for you to review your tax position. They're called tax lots. However, for me, it's just we're echoing again. Casey, have you got me unmuted?
I'm muted now.
Okay, great. We'll fix this issue later on. Thank you, Vaz. There we go. It's because Casey's got some monitors. It's being picked up on a microphone. A microphone is very wide spectrum, so it picks up everything in the room. So anyway, I use lots even more with crypto than I do with stocks. I use them both the same, but I just do more trades in crypto because of the volatility. and it allows me to reposition myself, because if I don't use lots, I'm simply just buying and selling averages all the time, and that's a really bad way to invest. You've got no idea. I like to use the example, a really simple way of putting it is this. If I went out today and bought 5 houses, house number 1 went up in price. House number 2 stayed the same. House number 3, the roof fell off and it went down in value. I've got to fix the roof. I've got to put some money into it. I've got to buy on a dip. I've got to repair it. House number 4, lost money. House number 5, made some money. Overall, my average would say, perhaps I've made money. So I go, great, let me sell my 5 houses and I make some money. In fact, what I really did was one on house 1 and 5, and the houses in between were down and average and whatever. But overall, I was up. How much better would it have been if I'd sold house number 1 for a profit, sold number 5 for a profit, and the ones in between, I'd refurbished the roof, upgraded the house, waited for a better time in the market, and boom, they make money as well. Isn't that a much better way to do it? Well, it's common sense, really, when you break it down like that. You go, well, that's flipping obvious. Who the hell wouldn't do that? Well, that's the thing. Crypto investors don't do that. They buy and sell, and they're always selling for losses. Very often the case. They think they're selling for a profit. Well, in fact, they're not. There's a thing called the FIFO rule, first in, first out. And that's the standard, but not always. Every brokerage, every app system has its own, but generally that's the standard. If you don't have lots, you can always email your brokerage and say, and I've done this, I've emailed Robinhood and said, before they had lots, I've said, I've just sold XYZ on this date. I've done I've got all the information written down, called them, emailed them, whatever, and I'd like to sell that lot. And you can do that. They'll do that for you before it settles. So you've got that sort of 24 hours before it settles to do that. So you can actually do that. That's always existed. So you might have a brokerage that doesn't offer lots, but provides this, communication, and that they'll do it. But you always got to remember, lots or any of the tools of the trade are not to help you make money. Robinhood is a business. And the stock market is a business. Every fund is a business. The S&P 500 is a rating agency. It's a business. There isn't one single stock that I can think of, maybe someone could tell me, but I can't think of one asset, one single stock that's available to buy anywhere that was set up to be nice and help you out just because we want to help you out. It doesn't exist. Everything is a business. So all of these tools that are provided to you are provided to benefit the brokerage. The more things they offer, the more tools they offer, the more opportunity they have for you to do stuff. Like they're now encouraging me to trade crypto more, because when they do, the spread goes down, the cost of trading goes down. It was at 0.85 for me. Now it's at 0.25, and it's about to go to 0.1 because I'm spending so much buying and selling crypto. So just like the same way as if you have a good credit score, you get a better deal, right? People with worse credit scores who have less money often pay the price. It's the way it is because they're of higher risk and they think you're going to default more likely. So they're going to make money out of you before you default. So this is how it works. So lots is a great idea for crypto. I use it. Don't confuse it with just a tax position. Of course you can. There are benefits to that, but I'm not going to give tax advice to anyone because that's a very personal thing and we don't do that anyway. We can't possibly know your situation and we're not here to give financial advice. Just to warn everybody of that. But lots is a great tool. I do go into it a lot more on Discord. I've dropped the Discord link in there and the Electrum membership link. If you want to join me, 90% discount on my Discord server. It's invitation only. We only permit 2 people a day to come in. We have a waiting list for people to come in. If you do get admitted, you have 12 hours to decide which plan you want to go for. If you don't choose a plan, there's $2.99 or $4.99, which is very inexpensive, with 24-hour support, live stage events twice a day. Then you'll be kicked from the server. It's not a free place. We don't want bots and trolls and scammers coming in, but we teach lots all the day, all the time. And I show you my lots and my trades every day. So you see my actual trades all the time. So and there you go. So great question there, Casey. Do you said you use lots yourself? You might want to mute me now and unmute yourself.
Got it. Yes, I have started using lots and it has helped me a lot. I had not been down in the last year at all. I had not been in the red down on anything until October. And I made some strategic mistakes and over allocated into XRP. And, and wasn't using lots before that. I have, begun to rebalance, especially with XRP. I've been rebalancing my portfolio using lots. When I started, I misunderstood, to be honest. I misunderstood what you were saying at first. And so I was selling my higher lots, trying to bring my average down. And then you and I had a conversation and I realized, wow, that was a big mistake. So I started using your strategy. And even in the last 48 hours, that has actually really helped me because I had some much lower lots and I chose ones that were one or two up from the bottom where I was still in profit. So I wasn't taking a loss and the average didn't really matter anymore, as you were explaining to me. So I would love if you would talk about that because you gave me a fantastic explanation of how those lots don't, you don't have to sell at a loss at the top.
Okay, if you start by muting me again, we'll all be good. We'll fix this, folks. It's just a monitor microphone issue. So, yeah, great question. And don't feel bad. And anyone who does this mistake, don't you feel bad because everyone makes the same mistake, right? I spoke to a gold member the other day who, if you're a gold member on YouTube, you get private one-on-one calls with me every month for 1 hour. And he'd been listening to me, understanding about lots, but he was selling at the top. He was losing on every single trade. He said, yeah, but I'm lowering my average. I said, who cares about the average? Like I just showed you the example of the 5 houses. Every time you sell something, sell it for a profit. Nothing's going to be gained by selling for losses unless you're trying to lose money on purpose to lower your tax bracket to save tax. That's a whole different issue. None of us really need to focus on that. I mean, very few of us here have an issue if we've got too much tax, we're making too much money, and we want to lower our tax burden, right? Most people are barely able to make any money at all, let alone I've got too much money and I pay too much tax. My accountant said to me, Martyn, when I was 17, I would love $1 million tax bill. It means you've earned 4 million, right? So let's not try to worry about paying too much tax. Paying tax means you've made money. That's a good start, right? And this guy, just like you, Casey, was selling at the top to lower his average because I've heard all about this. Lower my average is a good thing. If you sell at the top for a loss, you've lost money. You bought a house for $10, you sold it for $8, $2 has gone down the river. Boom, never seen again. That's now no longer in your buying power. But you'll go, well, great, I lost money. I've lowered my average. Who cares? We care about each individual lot when we sell it. When we sell it, we make money. 5 houses, you wouldn't sell one for a loss, would you? Just to give yourself an average. I mean, when I put it in, sorry, just get my camera focused. When you put it in context like that, it sounds obvious. You think, well, obviously, why would I sell a house for losses just to give me an average, right? When I sell for profit, always. Casey said she sold a couple of lots from the bottom. That's great. Now, what happens then is she sold a lot, 1 or 2 from the bottom of her pile. She sold for a profit. She kept the lower ones that were in even more profit. And what would probably happen is the average would go up at first, because it depends on how many you've got of each, obviously. But if you've got some down here and you've got some down here, and sorry, some up here and some up, and you sell here and you've got like 100 above you, right? You've sold the lower one, not the lowest, but a lower one. The overall average, don't get confused with the average and the mean average. The overall average will go up at first because you've got lots more higher up. But that was a winning trade. It was a winning trade. It will tell you how much money you've made. It'll tell you before you sell it how much money. And don't forget, you could put a limit order. You don't just have to go sell. You can go limit order for this price and make sure that you're above the price that you bought it and the spread. Make sure that you've covered the cost. If you're paying 0.25, and for me on a $10,000 trade, it's like $35 to buy it and to sell it. There's $70. So don't just sell it for $70 wash. You've made no money, right? Make a few hundred, make, $400 or $500 profit. So then your $70 is what I call cost of business. It's like putting the lights on, run the business, but I make more than the cost of running the electric, obviously, right? Otherwise it would be a rubbish business, right? So that's the cost of business. So you make sure you've profited. Now your average will go up, because you've got less at the lower price and still more at the higher price. In a perfect world, you sell the top lots. Oh, yeah, you sell the top lots, your average would come crashing down, your profit would go through the roof, everybody wins. But right now, the market's going down and down and down. You're running out of money. You need liquidity. What if it goes lower? Take some profit. That's real profit. Allows you to buy something else, which is what I did the other day. I took $2,500 from my lowest lot because I'd sold the 1 or 2 steps up from XRP. I bought a lower lot, and then I bought the lowest lot, and the lowest lot was 20% profit. Thank God I sold it, because we went a lot lower, right? Yes, my average went up. My average went from 116 to 140, 150, because the higher ones are still up here. I can't make the market go up. I can't will it because I just want it. But what I can do is control what I do. We all go, well, I'm losing money. Well, I mean, here's a perfect example. I can't show you because I'm not on full screen with Casey, and don't try and change me, Casey. It's perfectly fine. We'll do that another day, right? But today I was down like some $30,000. Because I bought Coca-Cola going down. Sorry, I bought Google going down. I bought Robinhood going down. And I bought with conviction, with the profit and the money I made from my lots where I made profit. So right now it's looking like, oh, I'm losing. I'm terrible. Oh, my portfolio's going down. But I actually made money. I never lose money. I mean, golden rule, right? Stop losing money. Have more buying power. So I've used my profit to buy assets that are down. Some assets, we've got a rotation today. We got tech selling off. We got Coca-Cola going through its target, right through $80. Everyone's going, oh, Coca-Cola, Martyn, you were right, $80. Oh, we should have all stayed in. Yeah, but it's at the highest level. It's massively overpriced now. 80 by the end of the year. It's February and we're at $80. So anyone buying Coca-Cola today is buying it out of fear. They're buying the pump. We don't do that. We sold it when everyone was buying it. Remember, it's not about selling at the top. It's about buying at the bottom. And lots enable you to do that because you keep buying until you hit the bottom and then you start to sell the ones on the way up, keeping the bottom one. And for some reason, if you see something else going even down even more than this is potentially going up, you sell your bottom lot. Take your profit, even if it's a bottom lot, and move it to something else. Nothing wrong with doing that unless you want to hold it there forever or whatever. But lots are a very, very powerful tool. But don't be confused, in case you're not the only one. I talked to a gold member the other day who was selling from the top thinking, but I'm lowering my average. Lowering your average was something that was made up. I think BitBoy made this famous. This is a guy who got famous on YouTube from one day working in Pizza Hut. Next day, he's a multi-millionaire because he bought Bitcoin when it was nothing, got famous really, really quick, and all the rest of it. And they talk about diamond hand. They made all these things up. Diamond hands, paper hands, dollar cost averaging. All of these things are silly like pow, boom, biff, like the Superman, Batman, comic books. They are not, you do not use these if you are studying finance, if you are sitting down with the school of Warren Buffett. Yes, he would talk about dollar cost averaging, but it's a whole book on it, not just one sentence. And if you're just focusing on dollar cost averaging, 9 times out of 10, you're losing from your trades and not understanding the complexities of it. Does that answer your question, Casey?
That does answer my question. This is a perfect example. What you're teaching here is a perfect example of how to mix that that women's brain, men's brain, long-term versus short-term strategy. I was looking at the long term. I'm holding this because eventually it's going to go up. And I was missing the opportunity I had to take profits in the middle. I was looking at that average and thinking, oh my, it has to go up above that average before I can take profit. So looking at it and like, oh, wait, I am in profit in quite a few of these lots, at the lower lots. I can take profit here and then, still hold on to the longer term ones until I'm in profit. I was just losing out. And I think a lot of people do that. I was losing out on all the opportunity to make profit on the way up. All I was focused on was that average and needing to get above it before I could take profit.
It's
So
yeah. Please mute me again. It is a very common mistake. Sadly, investing is very simple, but it's also very complicated. We all understand you buy a business that's undervalued because you think it's going to be worth more. You buy low, you sell high. I mean, a child would understand that. But to achieve those goals isn't as straightforward as it sounds. It does require a lot of conviction, a lot of discipline. This morning is a perfect example. I can't show you because we're doing just a face screen here, but I'm looking at my portfolio down some 30 grand today, and now I'm green. That's buying with conviction. I've taken profit from things I've made money on. I haven't chased Coca-Cola today getting, I've missed out. I said it was 80 and now I'm out. I want to be out. Yeah, but it's 80. That's the price. Not 90, not 100. If I had a price target of 100, I'd buy it at 80, right? But I don't. That's not a price target that someone has told me on YouTube. That's me calculating income, expenditure, profit, margins, and everything else. So, Casey, don't beat yourself up. A lot of people make that mistake about averages. It's very, very easy. And even on Robinhood or any brokerage, everything about it, even ones that try to be, we're the real investor platform like Charles Schwab or whatever. This isn't for Robinhood investors. We don't have predictive markets. We make it all look complicated with lots of little numbers and lines. It's very hard to read it. We're not making it all fun. You remember when Robinhood first started, when you do a trade, confetti would come down. Oh my gosh. And they got told off for doing that because they gamified the whole thing. Remember, whether you're trying to be the party animal like Robinhood and have confetti and gambling and prediction markets, or whether you're Charles Schwab or Merrill Lynch, where we don't have any of that stuff and it's all very, very small text. You can hardly read it because it's all boring and it's just real money. They're all businesses. They're all there to sell to a different client. The people that go to Charles Schwab or Merrill Lynch or any of these people are older money, and they think Robinhood's a game and it's just for idiots. And the other way around. At the end of the day, the Robinhood CEO will sit down with the Charles Schwab CEO in a pub and laugh at the customers on both sides. Let me tell you, they're running a business. So when you invest, it's really simple. Understand the philosophy. I'm buying something undervalued that I believe, like a religious thing, but I understand from money and facts and all the rest of it will be worth more in the future than it is today. Is it run by a good management? You buy the business, you buy the people that work there. And then how do you buy it? Those that are selling it you, just like a realtor or someone selling you that house that we made 10% on, they get a slice of it. So how do you sell it? What's the efficient way to sell it from a tax point of view and a cost point of view? Everyone's in for something. Everybody wants to get something out of it. And that's why we launched this channel. I didn't do this as a way to make money. I made my fame and fortune as the world piano man and built this channel to be a place to help people. And it's why we have all these memberships, why we go live all the time, why we do I share all my trades 24/7 on Discord, why it's so inexpensive, because I don't need to make money selling the tools. I make money investing. And if anyone is out there selling you something, right, why are they selling you? Is that how they make their money? I recently tested, I'm still testing it, Robinhood's management fund. Robinhood have professionals at Robinhood where they invest for you. So they are your fund manager. You're a big rich person now and you don't have the time to invest your money. You let Robinhood do it. And you give money to Robinhood. And it's very cost effective. It's better than anyone. It's great, actually. However, are they better investors than I am? No. I've outperformed my Robinhood management fund with the same principles, the same risk management as I've got with what I do. And I'm way ahead of my managed fund with Robinhood because they're a business. They just have to perform enough to keep you using the service. But they want to trade as many times as they can. Because remember, just the same way as when you're trading, if they're trading, they're making money with the market makers. They're in and out doing this and that and the other. Are they doing the best things? No, they're doing just enough. And I know this from having spoken to hedge fund managers, Wall Street managers. All of those funds all sit in the same pub at the end of the day and chat to each other. And whether you buy with Fisher or Merrill or JP or anybody else, whoever your fund manager is, they're all the same guys or ladies sitting in a room having a conversation, and they all do the similar thing. It's what I call the dumb money. They will advise their clients, we're going to buy Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, Google. Basically, they're buying the S&P 500, which they could tell you that for free, but they can't say that because they can't charge you that. And then when the market crashes, they all crash about the same. No one gets sued. No one gets blamed by anybody because we all underperform the market. This is why they all do these things. So at the end of the day, there is no easy answer, but in fact, it actually is easy because it all comes down to the information that is just common sense. Old-fashioned adding up 1 + 1 = 2, and when it equals something else, there's something wrong, and everyone's in it for themselves. Everyone's trying to scam you out of something. Just don't live in a world of negativity. I trust everybody until they lie to me. That is, live in a world of openness and positivity. Otherwise, life's just not worth living. But understand, it's a game. I look at life and investing like a Monopoly board, like a game of chess. It's a game. And those that know the rules and study it tend to win more than those that don't study the rules. How many of you, when you buy something and you never read the instructions and it doesn't work? It's just because you didn't read the instructions. How many of you have read the terms and conditions of the stocks you buy? How many of you have read the prospectuses, the balance sheets? We did a poll recently, 80% have never read a balance sheet, yet they'll buy the asset. So there it is. It's really easy to make money. The hard part is to keep it. Focus on the tools. Understand the tools are there to make the brokerage money, not you. And this whole thing is a game. And these are some great questions, Casey. I hope I haven't drifted off your original question.
No, I think it's great. I mean, you said earlier, don't beat yourself up too much. I can tell you that I don't beat myself up because I consider this education, tuition, and I am a lifelong learner. I'm never going to learn all of it. I never claim to know it all, but I do claim that I do deep research. I know what I'm getting into typically before, and if a strategy isn't working, I go out and find the people, which is, how I found your channel to begin with a long time ago, that I can learn from and implement new strategies and stick with them long enough until they work or really get the idea that it doesn't. So I consider this tuition. And in the long run, I think that education is what is going to also lead to me having the wealth that I want to, on the long-term horizon. So no, this was great. This was wonderful questions. I do want to just shout out to a couple of people in the, okay. I want to talk to people in the chat here for a minute because 1970 Buckley gave away 5 Martyn Lucas investor gift memberships. So thank you. Thank you, 1970 Buckley. That is fantastic. And also we had another one. Eagle Jean sent 5 memberships. So We really appreciate you. Thank you so much. That's wonderful. You've just given people a real gift, because we have some wonderful educators, very smart investors who are very convicted with, Martyn and Vaz and Sensei and myself. We're all here to serve you. So thank you so much for giving that gift, because you never know what that's going to turn into for someone. And I have another question for you, Martyn. There was a question that came in the chat, and since we've had a lot going on with XRP in the last couple of days, there was someone who said, who asked me, but I am going to ask you. They said, "Why is Brad Garlinghouse such a bloody idiot?" And I know, that is not my opinion. I have always loved Brad Garlinghouse, but the last 48 hours again have brought up a few things. So I would just love your take on this. I would love to have your opinion on what happened yesterday, and possibly tonight with the community days for XRP, and your thoughts about kind of the leadership of XRP.
Thank you. Please mute me again. Yeah, great question. Oh, blimey. Like I said earlier on, when you buy a business, you buy the people that work there. And I saw it in the chat this morning. People were like, long-term holders or fan club members. They got the t-shirt. Literally, everyone on our channel won a t-shirt yesterday, because they couldn't get anyone to watch their way below par presentation. More were watching with us. In fact, not more. Half were watching with us than Ripple themselves had, and we were number one in the world above anybody else. And we gave out the links to win t-shirts, and everybody got one. In fact, some people got 3 because they couldn't give them away themselves. It was awful. Yesterday what we saw was weak management, and people that buy and hold and join fan clubs don't like it when I say stuff like that. Well, remember, I'm more qualified probably than you are, because I'm a double whale in XRP. I've got over 100 grand of XRP, so I can speak about it, and I talk to people at Ripple, and I know that Brad doesn't even like the XRP army. He's commented on it before, and yet yesterday's pandering to them, giving them free t-shirts, and no one even showed up to the performance. It was awful. And allowing people to speak who knew nothing about XRP at all, saying they use it to buy their groceries down at Walmart and Kroger, wherever they go. Utter nonsense that was. I mean, I think you mentioned it this morning, Casey. It wouldn't even make any sense time you take the cost out. It's absolutely bonkers. The whole thing was ridiculous, very weak, very bad. I didn't like it. Not impressed at all. It could have been something great yesterday, and I was hoping to have sold sort of 2/3 of the way up. My lots got to sort of 160, 70, even maybe $2 yesterday on a good performance, and I could have bought some really great businesses this morning and lowered my average on XRP, been more powerful in the XRP investing space, and improve my portfolio. And now we're all sitting around waiting for something to happen. I thought yesterday was absolutely terrible. In fact, what I've got in about 15 minutes, I presume that's when you'll be finishing this broadcast. I don't know how long you intended to go for. Right. At 1:15, in 15 minutes, I have a world premiere, not seen yet, going out. You saw the live stream this morning. Well, there's a video now out, world premiere. Understand what I mean by that? Live is when it's live. The clock's on the screen and I'm talking to you. This is the actual time. That's live. A live premiere is when you go to the movies and see the movie for the first time. So if you go and see Top Gun at the cinema on the premiere night with Tom Cruise, it's the first time it's been seen. It's being played live, but it's not being played live literally, is it? The film was recorded 2 years ago, and we're not literally seeing Tom Cruise jumping out of a plane. All right. It's the film, the premiere. That's what this is, the premiere. So if you see a live premiere, then you know the video is going out for the first time. So it's got the whole build up and the live chat. So join me for that in 15 minutes if you want to see more about what I thought with the XRP Community Day. Did that answer your question? I really wasn't happy at all. Thought it was rubbish.
Yeah, it answered my question. Yeah, clearly. Um, I love XRP. I love the technology behind it. I think the possibilities are amazing, which is why I've supported it for as long as I have. I was underwhelmed by the entire performance yesterday by the company. I was disappointed because I haven't seen that performance. After Davos and Brad Garlinghouse speaking in Davos, he did a fantastic job there. I hope that today's speakers, I hope that they've gotten the message from the XRP community and that they will address some of those, waiting to see how that pans out. I haven't lost faith in the technology behind XRP at all, but I am seeing concerns, that are rippling, no pun intended, through the community here. Um, I think that Brad Garlinghouse has steered this ship very well for years. So I have faith that maybe everybody has an off day. And that, that's my hope. But I am going to be watching closely what's happening because there are a lot of transitions. David Schwartz, the CTO and developer of XRP, retired on January 1st. And I haven't seen much about the new CTO that has come in to take his place. Hopefully, he'll maybe speak today or be introduced. But I am looking to see how they're navigating a lot of changes that have happened because we've had nothing but good news. And I do think that that XRP right now is coiled back. This is my hope and it's what I'm seeing, but I'm hoping it's coiled back and ready to take off with some good news. I just need to see how this company is handling the transition because like you said before, it's not, this is digital ownership. It's not exactly the same as buying into the stock market where you're buying a company. You own part of a company when you own stock. You own the technology and the digital access when you own cryptocurrency. And because of that, you do need to look a little bit deeper on how it operates, but there is a piece of ownership in the larger company as well, because you need the right leadership steering the ship. You need to know what is coming for the future. And people that have invested in this have built this cryptocurrency to the point where they can get all these institutional partnerships, right? Like it has been built on the backs of retail, in my opinion. So I do think there needs to be some attention paid to retail at this point for me.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Just please mute me again. Yes, I agree with you, and I think Brad tried to do that, but he did it awfully. Giving a shout out to the XRP army. In the fact he doesn't even like the whole process was weak. Then the t-shirt debacle, and then later on we saw a Gemini image created on Gemini by one of its employees, showing that it was an AI generated image of Brad signing stuff. I mean, you don't want that in the in a crypto space when it's already under scrutiny of being a scam and a joke and this and that and the other. You always want to be transparent. I mean, how bloody hard would it have been to take a photograph of Brad signing t-shirts and posting that? Not a Gemini created one. I mean,
or at least crop out the Gemini logo on the image before you share it. It's those kind of details. I would rather full transparency, but it's those kind of details that I look for in a company. You've got to have that kind of detail orientation by everyone from the top to the bottom. And if not, they should be gone.
Yeah, this should, again, make sure you've muted me, Casey. Yeah, I mean, this would never happen. I mean, take Coca-Cola, for example. Coca-Cola is a bottling business, not Coca-Cola drink business. It's a bottling business. And it's a marketing giant. absolutely fantastic. They market Christmas. You may not know this, but Coca-Cola invented red Santa Claus. Santa Claus was green. Coca-Cola made him red. I mean, this is a marketing giant, right? And from the Olympics to the World Cup, now on Crocs. I mean, whatever. This is a marketing genius company, right? And you've got to get it right. SpaceX is great at marketing, right? And XRP and Ripple, absolutely awful. And listen, I mean, behind any of these great things comes people. It all comes down to people. And, XRP is not going to magically do well. It doesn't magically do well. It requires partnerships. It requires trust, integrity, and deals to be made by human beings. And if human beings get too rich, and we have made Brad Garlinghouse very rich. Thank you very much. If people get too rich, too greedy, can't be bothered, too old, too lazy, too unwell, too unfit, whatever, things can slip. Absolutely, they can slip. We can all do it. I could do it. You could do it. We could all just not show up and say, I've done enough. I've got enough. Who the hell cares? And pull the plug very easily. So don't think that Ripple is separate from XRP and it doesn't matter. There's a relationship there. And Brad has made it quite clear that XRP is their focus point of Ripple. So they've got to take care of it. And they've got to show up and they've got to be on time and they've got to present themselves properly and they've got to deliver. And there was nothing yesterday in that presentation. Yes, there was this little nod to Aviva deal, but really nothing saying we are going to do this. This is what we are doing right now. And this is our aim for this year. It's a lot of people sitting around paying themselves lots of money out of our money, by the way, and saying, we're working on this technology and this and that and the other. Yeah, but does it make any money? Is it achieving anything? You wouldn't get away with it anywhere else. When that's a difference when you own a crypto, it doesn't have a balance sheet like Ripple does. You don't see that. It's a private company. It doesn't have an earnings call like Google does, where they have to defend their spending and tell you, we've spent this is what we're doing, and this is where we're going. There's none of that. So we just buy it, hoping some people can be convinced to join in and buy it from us. That's essentially it. So if that's going to happen, we're going to need strong leadership with strong conviction and, show up and deliver. But can I ask, Casey, your audience, you've got an amazing audience here today. This is your best ever performance. Can everyone tap the like button, flash up the like and the subscribe. Everyone, we should have 100 likes by now. We've got 53, I think. Oh, hello. Let me. There he is.
He's right over you, Martyn.
There we go.
If I can move him over here.
There we go. Tap the like button and let's get to 100 likes. Anyway, Casey, we've only got 10 minutes before the premiere. If there's anything else you'd like from me or whatever, please feel free.
I think that we are going to say goodbye here in just a second, but I did want to say that we got a super chat from Diesel Raider, and he says, this is way better than Ewok Kramer or MSNBC BS. So thank you, Diesel Raider. Great comment. I appreciate that. And I think Martyn does too. We have the best LucasAids community. We really do.
We do. The community is incredible. I invite everyone. Here is the link to become a member and get all the membership shows, the CEO interviews, 90% discount from my Discord. Remember, I make money investing. At the moment, it doesn't look like it, but I'll remind you, I'm still up like nearly 300 grand. So I'm still got a good, healthy portfolio. Is it down a lot? Yeah, it's down about 30 grand at the moment, since its all-time high, but I've used my funds to be able to buy assets on the way down and try to catch the bottom carefully, catch a falling knife carefully, and then use those lots to trade out on the way up and keep the lower ones, make some serious profit. But I want to thank Casey for doing a tremendous job, and we all missed you last week. I'm so glad that you're feeling better this week.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
I did want to say one last thing. Paul D8168 sent a super chat and said, great show, Casey. Speaking coal guest is okay too, I guess. LOL. Hello, Martyn.
Thank you.
So,
We're
thank you
four
so much for
away.
that.
We're 4 away from getting for the very first time suggested on YouTube on your show. If we get 100, YouTube suggests the live stream. This will be the first time. If Casey gets 100 likes, she's done it, and this is great. Best show so far. By the way, folks, I'm just the test dummy interview guest. Casey's going to be interviewing great people, not just special guests. It's me every week popping up. Honestly, she's got some great guests lined up, so look forward to that. And join me on Discord. I'll be there again later on today. If you'd like to join me now for the premiere, the world premiere, it goes live in exactly 7 minutes. I've dropped it in the chat. Tune in for the world premiere and share it and like it and be part of it. Casey, you've done a tremendous job. You're bringing so much to the channel. Thank you again.
I just want to say thank you, too. Thank you for being my first guest. This was wonderful. You brought great information. As always, it's been a pleasure to have a conversation with you. And I think we're going to go ahead and end this now. Thank you to everyone in the chat. I appreciate your support and you being here. And go ahead and hit that like button. Let's see if we can get it to 100 before we end here. But I will see you next week. And until then, take care of yourselves.
And each other. Ta-ra. Join me on the premiere right now.
Have a great day.